Yo, it's your boy Uncle Pre with another episode of the Unfiltered Podcast. This week, I have finally got her into the room, despite our number of conversations this week. I'm going to go with your Instagram name and then let you introduce yourself. Big up, Tej_fit. What are you saying, girl?
Hi, Pre.
You all good?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here today.
What's this? No BS transformation specialist.
Yeah, I changed that this week. This week, it turned to no BS because I'm so fed up.
Fed up of what?
Having to mollycoddle people, and people want to be gently led into a certain place, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go with the no bullshit. At 41, I've had enough of the bullshit.
Yeah, 41, yeah. 41, yeah. Jeez.
I know,
come
lots to
on.
look forward to.
That's it. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. When I read it, I was like, no way. Didn't see that coming at all. But nah, fair play to you. Good genes and all of that. Come on.
I've got my ID. If you want.
No. We don't. Fuck's sakes. Transformation specialist. Give a little background about yourself and that in particular, because you're very adamant that we don't call you anything else.
Well, yeah, because I have worked really hard to get to this place. So I didn't start off this way, Pre. God, no. In 41 years, I've had so many different versions of myself. But I started off as every Gujarati kid, overfed.
Overfed? What are you talking about, overfed?
Underactive, your academics are the most important thing. So I was overweight pretty much my whole life. And that was the way I was. I hated physical activity. I was that kid that used to write fake letters to excuse myself from PE lessons.
Swear.
I hated it. And then I'd fake asthma attacks and stuff I hated physical activity. Any exertion was like a no-go. It doesn't sound like me when you know me now, but this is what I mean.
Yeah.
But I literally got through life without really applying myself in any way, shape or form to looking after myself physically. So no physical activity, didn't really pay attention to what I was eating. It was only when I had my babies, and after my second, so my son, I got postnatal depression. And when I went to the doctors, they were like, oh yeah, you're just overtired. I was like, I've had a baby before. I know tired. This is not tired. I just felt like a zombie in my own life. And I was working in banking. Everything, life looked good from the outset, but internally I was just autopilot. And I was like, I can't go through life feeling like this. I just felt like I was a spectator. So I remember watching, I don't know if you ever will come across this, but Trisha, she used to have this talk show.
I think so.
Do you remember? So I remember watching one of her episodes, and she said that in order to ward off her depression, she turned to exercise. And I was like, okay, so I'm not that person that medicates. Even if I'm in pain, whatever, it'll be the last thing I do is to medicate. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try getting physical and see how that works. Didn't know the science behind any of it. And I started working out at home, and I felt amazing. And all of a sudden I started to actually bring myself back to life again. So that was the start, essentially. And I'm neurodivergent, so I only know this now, but it makes sense, so much sense now, because I'm like, as soon as I felt that good about what my body was feeling like and how my mind was feeling, I was like, what else can I do? I want to chase this feeling, that whole dopamine. You get addicted. Yeah. So what else can I do? There must be more. So then I started looking into nutrition and my diet was rubbish, absolute crap. So I cleared everything out, and I swear 5 days after I cleared all the junk out, because at that point my babies were super young, so I didn't need to keep anything around them. So everything was clean for them, but the junk was there for me, essentially. Yeah. And as usual, right? the little sweet drawer. But literally for the first 5 days, every time I was hungry, I'd go in the kitchen and there was nothing there but healthy stuff. Yeah. I cried. I actually cried, physical tears. But after that, I was like, if I'm really hungry, I will eat what's there, the good stuff. I'll make good choices because there's nothing else there. And very, very quickly, I actually started to crave the good stuff. And you start really appreciating it. After that, it was the easiest thing to say no to anything that wasn't that. So I could go to parties, I could go out with friends and be on socials and be like, no, I actually don't want it.
Carry on, because I'm about to go into that in totally different levels for people that get on to me about like not like what are you being boring for? Well, you know, honestly, don't get me started. You carry on telling your story first before.
Go back to that, please.
Yeah, don't you worry.
But yeah, essentially, my body started changing super fast.
Yeah,
the way that I felt about myself, and I wasn't lethargic anymore. I had tons of energy. I was always in a good mood. I'd wake up and just be really happy. So a darn sight different to how I felt when I was feeling depressed. And obviously at that point, you've got hormonal fluctuations and all the rest of it. You know, postnatal life is hard. They call it the 4th trimester. People think that, you know, we look after pregnant women 1st, 2nd, 3rd trimester, and then they give birth, and then it's all about the baby. But people really do forget that there is a 4th trimester where the mum needs even more care after they've had the baby. And so just the fact that I was so different from that point, and I was like, oh my God, like people need to know how they can do this, because I started seeing so many others who looked and felt like my old version of me. So people obviously noticed the change in me. I'd lost a ton of weight. And like I said, I just felt different to people. So they were like, can you help me? What do I do? And I started writing plans for them. And got really great results. And just they just felt so good about themselves. I was like, oh my God, the pleasure you get from seeing somebody just improve in their own life was just immense. So I was like, I want to do this properly. Like, I love how it feels to help others. So that's when I qualified. And to be fair, I...
qualified as a what?
Personal trainer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so fully qualified personal trainer.
So what, all this time you're still doing banking?
Yes. Yeah, I was still in my full-time job. Still had
absolute beast out here.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also started kickboxing. And I loved it so much, I basically got obsessed with it, got really good at it, started running my own classes as well. My instructor was like, right, can you run some classes? I was like, hell yes.
Bloody hell.
So yeah, I ran 3 classes a week. I attended 3 classes a week for myself, Krav Maga and kickboxing. I was studying for my PT qualification. I had a whole house extension renovation going on. I had the babies, had my job. But because of how I treated myself, I was still training and eating well. I felt unstoppable. So that didn't feel like it was overwhelming to me, because I was like, I've got the energy. Saturday morning, I'd be at the gym for 7 a.m, be back at 8:30. My kids and my family would be waking up then. I'd be like, right, what are we having for breakfast? And we could get on with the day. So it wasn't like I was missing out.
That's mad. And so that now ties into being a transformational specialist.
Yeah.
Because what you offer isn't genuinely the result, but it's the lifestyle, I presume, change that comes with it.
Absolutely. So the tag for my business is "Will transform you, so you can transform your body." Essentially, because transforming a body, there's so much out there that will tell you, here's what you eat and here's how you train. But that's where it all starts and ends, because you can always apply yourself for a set period of time and be like, I'm going to eat this way for this many weeks, and I'm going to do this training, and I'm going to do the cardio, and I'm going to do my steps. But actually, what people forget is that in order to keep those results, you have to be a certain person. Yep,
you do. It's bang on how you're saying it, because I feel like when I was being online coached by my guy, it was pretty much similar. It's like, bro, we're not going to have you have this yo-yo effect where, look, you can cut and lose weight, etc. But if you just put it back on, it's defeating the purpose. Like, we want to... I can't remember the words he used to say, but it was like reverse engineering the way you go about your day-to-day life and making it like a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
So making it common that I wanted to be super ripped, like footballer ripped, etc. And it was like, look, bro, they're getting the proper meals in, they're training superly hard, and they don't necessarily go out and drink and do all this other kind of stuff.
They have a whole team. Physios, nutritionists, like, they are cared for top to bottom every single day.
I don't have that lifestyle.
No, none of us do.
And so naturally, it's reminding yourself of the lifestyle that you live, being comfortable with that lifestyle, and understanding that if you still want those results, some of those other things have to be parked aside. So I was playing football, I was playing golf, and I was doing all of this other shit. And it's like, well, you're not going to be able to possibly eat as well as you would have been eating if you were a footballer, for instance. So bear that in mind, and we want to try and work you towards that lifestyle appreciation and being comfortable within your body and with the results, etc., etc. And yeah, safe to say that I do hear what you're saying, because like I think within the short, or shouldn't call it a short period of time, within the year of training with him, it was sick. Then in my head, I felt like I know what I'm doing. I know what I need to be doing right now, and went about my own kind of journey in my own way. And don't get me wrong, results haven't slipped, but I feel like one thing I've definitely lost by training with him is that accountability and that discipline to be like, yeah.
We do. The human condition, we're so protective of ourselves that we will always take the more comfortable way. Okay? Because like our limbic brain is all there to designed to help us survive.
Yeah.
So the only way we know how to survive is stay where we know the land and the environment.
It's mad. I'm going Marbella in a couple of weeks' time, and I was like to myself, all right, cool. Just a little bit more of a cut. Okay. I've been like being cool with myself, eating what I like, but I was like to myself, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Let's be disciplined to the extent where you cut the crap. Don't go to the sweet cupboard and stuff like that, which I know is always a problem. When I'm at work, it's just a little stroll, couple of Percy pigs and all that, and back to your seat. But now I'm gonna try and stop that. And like yesterday was a good example. I was so easy to just get a couple of biscuits to have with tea and stuff like that. Just don't do it. And like the only bad thing is when you're doing that is that if you haven't prepared in advance, i.e. what you're eating, you're fucked. Because you're either not then eating and you're starving yourself, or you're gonna just break the rules and just eat whatever the fuck you want.
And this is the thing, planning and prepping just helps you not to have to make decisions in the moment where you could have had a crap conversation with your partner, or your kids have really got on your nerves, or you've had crap sleep, or work deadlines, your manager's just called you and told you, right, I need this work now. You go into stress mode. Is that the best time to make decisions about what to put in your body?
No, hell no. And it's like yesterday I was so close to just saying to myself, fuck it, I'm just gonna go get I'll go get some grilled chicken from nearest chicken shop. That'll be fine. But it's not though. It's not.
You're right. I mean, it's better than all the other crap that's on Uber, for example.
But still, it's like, bro, you don't need to do that. And the only bad thing was that I ate late and didn't really get... I got my shakes in, which is fine, but macros-wise, it wasn't ideal. But it's knowing that and prepping in advance, I suppose. And one thing I was going to ask you is, I know it's so easy to say, and this is one thing I tell all my clients when I coach them, is that you all know the answers, you just don't do it. But generally... what is the easiest way of prepping and planning? Because I feel like I can say it to myself, like tonight, you know what you need to eat for the next 2 weeks. All right, calm, cool. After 1 week, I'm just like, I can't be fucked again.
No one can be fucked. It really just depends on how much you want that goal.
I get that, but I want the goal so bad. And this is why I get infuriated with myself. I'm like, I want it so bad. But on a nice summer's day, like if I played a round of golf, I know I've definitely walked my calories. Sometimes I've checked the watch and it's like 1,800 calories from just playing golf, and I'm like,
stop doing that. Firstly,
I know I did it like just to check.
Tracking how much you're expending.
No, I don't normally. I don't normally stop doing that. You know, I don't normally do it, but like this one occasion, I was like, let me just have a little rough idea because I was feeling battered from it, and I was like, damn. Okay, cool.
It was hot though.
It was hot, and I was like, let me just. I can have a couple of pints or so, and it's like.
Oh, so you bought those calories?
Exactly. Nice. Do you see what I'm saying?
But that's why I said stop tracking your expended calories.
I don't.
You're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. You want to live your normal life, but you want to improve your eating. That in itself will get you good results.
I know that, but like I still feel like it's very difficult for me. Like say today is Sunday. Normally in my head I'm thinking Sunday, quick thing, go to your nearest supermarket, get all your veggies in, etc., cut all your food, etc., have it all prepped in the fridge. I've got an air fryer, it takes 10 minutes.
It's beautiful.
It's a game changer in itself.
Totally.
No excuses. Yet come tonight when I get home after doing podcast sessions, what am I gonna do? Probably eat a little bit of food. I've got gym written down, so I've got to go gym in a bit. am I really going to prep for tomorrow? Long. Then I've got to go buy it if I haven't got it. And if the shops are closed, excuse.
Big excuse.
And then tomorrow I'll just go and get something complimentary just to go with whatever I've prepped.
That's the thing, you're planning one night in advance. You need to make sure you've...
Yeah, but then food goes off.
Dude, if you could cook food. For example, you cook rice.
Yeah.
That stays in the fridge for 3 days.
Yeah, no, rice is one thing, but I'm talking about like veggies and stuff.
So cook them. There's a lot of vegetables that will go in the freezer.
Yeah, but once you've cooked it...
I wouldn't put it... I mean, when you've cooked your whole meal, you can put the whole meal in the freezer. Yeah.
See, I've never done that. I ain't got enough space for that, to be honest. Honestly, when you're not...
That sounds like...
No, I tell you what. When you live in an Indian household,
I know.
these people think that the freezer, they think it's like a time machine. You can just store stuff in them, see it in a couple of months' time. Like, no, like, get rid of this shit. But no, I hear you. All right, fine. Prep in advance. Okay, cool.
I will plan a week in advance what's going on so that I know that I've got X, Y. And to be honest, you can create meals out of practically nothing.
Yeah.
But your key things are going to be keeping tinned veg.
Yeah.
And frozen veg.
Yeah.
Keeps literally, you are then covered for your micronutrients.
Yeah.
Protein. Are you vegetarian?
No.
You're not vegetarian. So
oh my fuck.
Your protein is like abundant. All types of food.
That's not an excuse for me because I know I just dash it in the air fryer, whatever it is. You
don't even need to be relying on these shakes.
No, I have 3 shakes a day.
Why?
3 scoops.
Why?
Because it's an extra 25 grams per shake.
What stops you from getting it from food? It's convenient. I'll give you that.
So like when I'm working in the office, for instance, there's no way I can cook 5 egg whites and have that first thing in the morning to be able to then get to work and crack on with my day. And
so wake up half an hour earlier, right?
I do that, but if I'm going to the gym, then I can't. So if I'm up 5 a.m. in the gym, like, listen.
So I make egg muffins.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm not doing an egg muffin.
There you go. See, so
I'm not doing an egg muffin. I'm not doing an egg muffin. That's long. But so I'll tell you my plan. What it's normally like is 3 scoops spread over like 6 hours. So like 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 11 a.m. And then I'll go first meal, second meal, and then see whatever happens after, depending on when I get home. So what it sounds
like you're doing is you're making sure you're getting your protein in, and whatever fits in around that is cool.
Yeah, no.
You don't then have to focus so much.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a way.
Yeah.
But if you eat since you're not a vegetarian, your protein sources are going to be so much more bioavailable.
Yeah.
And so much more filling. The volume you get from protein from...
Yeah, but when you're in the office, I can't just like 9 o'clock just rock up to the canteen area and just sit there while everyone else is working. 11 o'clock do the same thing.
I used to go straight up to the canteen and I'd tell the lady behind the egg counter.
Yeah.
There was an egg counter. And I'd be like, right, I'll have a 3-egg omelette, please.
Yeah.
Really simple.
Yeah, I know, but
you don't want to make it yourself.
No, we can't. Can't do that. Can't do that. We can't do that.
I hear you, life coach.
Yeah. The best example I could do is like go to Mackey's in the morning, pull up a couple of egg McMuffins and bring them back. But
I mean, listen, it is all, you are totally able to get ripped eating convenience food.
Oh, I know this. I've seen people in the gym and I don't know what they're on for them to possibly maintain that, i.e. extra stuff that not everyone takes. And genetics is another big part of it too. But now, respectfully, like it's an interesting one because I know what it took for me to lose that weight, and it was like religiously going for walks 10,000 steps or at some point 15,000 steps depending on what my plan was, cutting the calories down gradually. Water intake was so important, hence why I've got that shit over there. And it's like those smaller things which I possibly wasn't doing before has been something I try, and it's still a little bit more often.
To be fair, those are lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And it does become easier when it becomes a part of you. You don't have to think about it.
I think one of the big things that stood out for me, and one of the guys told me this in the gym as well, he's like in his mid-50s, in such great shape, and that man can lift. He was like to me, he was like, bro, just remember, like, you're not fat, you're not overweight or anything. Right now, you're in a great shape, you're lifting great weight. If you try and cut right now, that's a 2-week maintenance that you're gonna see that body for, because once you start reintroducing those other foods, it's gonna go. So don't just think that like that can be maintained consistently, unless you want to live a quite much a boring bland life. fuck that. Like, so just understand that, like, you've got to get comfortable with what you're doing, and
100%.
as long as you keep working at it, it's fine. And when you need to possibly cut because you've got a holiday and you want to like just be a bit more ripped, or for whatever purpose, whether it's sport related, you just push yourself a little bit harder on those fronts. You cut back. That's another thing. Less is more. So cut back on some of the other shit that you're doing. I play golf. Well, I haven't been recently, but I play golf at least twice a week. There's no way I can fit in gym Saturday or Sunday at all.
Yeah, it's a long day.
If I play football midweek as well, there's no way I can do 4 days of gym or 5 days. I need to recover, etc. And if I'm working and coaching, respect your body as well. So there's all of that stuff. But nah, I hear you. Damn, we kind of diverse from what we were originally going to talk about. It was calm. It's good. But this is what happens on the podcast. We go in one angle, you catch me, and I'm going to go straight in. But what was that thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, people call me boring for not drinking. Fuck them. I don't dislike my boys that tell me that, because they don't complain when I'm the Uber driver for the end of the night. But I've said it on a number of episodes now. Like, if I know I'm playing golf first thing in the morning, I don't need to drink. Why do you want to be
in that state? Yeah.
Don't need to drink. You know, I'm happily in a better position to just wake up the next day, calm, cool, chilled, crack on with my day. And like, the novelty of getting pissed up is great, but at the same time, if I know I've got other things which are much more important to me.
Bingo. What's important to you? That's what your decisions are based on.
Yeah.
That's what your decisions should be based on. Not, oh shit, everyone's drinking, I've got FOMO.
Yeah. How'd you get over that? Because I'm thinking of people predominantly in my family who I'm definitely going to make sure they listen to this, or list this segment of it. How to get over that FOMO element, and how to just get rid of those nasty habits of comfort eating. So
this is it. People see it as FOMO, i.e. they're missing out on something. But you have to train yourself to rethink the narrative. Right, reverse it. What am I gaining?
Yeah.
So if I don't drink, if I don't get pissed tonight, I get to wake up feeling amazing. I get to get on with my day whilst everyone else is sluggish. They're eating crap in the morning because they're trying to soak up the alcohol.
Yeah.
They're not able to make the most out of their day. They're literally just sliding through Sunday, for example. What do I gain from not feeling like that? Everything.
But like, I feel this is more of an older generation thing. They just don't care about that kind of what other people are doing. They just feel the need to keep up with what everyone's doing on that night out. And it's like, especially I've got family relatives who, and I know friends of family relatives who just feel like they just need to keep up and just keep doing what everyone else is doing. And it's just like, stop, relax, to think about what you could be doing the next day, etc., etc.
That may not be important enough for them, because actually it's more important for them to feel like they belong. And when they are partaking in activities in a pack, that's them belonging. Because the risk of them being rejected for being that sole person that doesn't go with their flow is too painful.
No, but you can go with that flow. This is what I don't understand. You can still turn up. You can still have a good time.
It's not enough for them, because the peer pressure kicks in. People expect you to be doing what they're doing.
Do you deal with people like that?
I do deal with a lot of people like that, but I'll be honest, I start filtering them out very quickly now.
I can't filter family.
If you're open to change, then I'm happy to be able to help you.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to get the results and stay how you are, I'm sorry, you do not belong here. And that's not me being an arsehole. That's me going, look, you are not ready. You're not ready for this.
Yeah. That is actually kind of mad.
But it is true. The human condition is we want to belong.
Yeah.
We're built to live and operate in a community. And in a community, everyone works together. They do things together. But what we've lost sight of is that how we've translated that in modern day is we have to be like each other. We have to do what everyone else is doing. We have to end up where everyone else ends up. We have to have the same things. We have to, cars, houses. We have to look and operate the same way, because to us, that's what success looks like. But actually, for me, the more different I am, that for me is my success.
Yeah.
If I am making you uncomfortable, that means I'm doing a good job.
This is going off tangent now.
Yeah.
But no, talking about success, because it's one thing that I try and help clients with, but it's still something I try and work myself through, because I feel like it becomes a challenge in my own life, and it's defining your own success.
Oh, 100%.
I did a pod about it by myself in the studio, and I talked about it. But like, while I've got you here, it seems relevant. Half the time, I don't know whether or not what I'm doing is successful if I look at it from a perspective of what someone else may say.
100%.
And I feel like we're sometimes so ingrained by that, it makes us feel like shit. We're not living up. Yeah, we're not living up to people's expectations. We're well behind everyone else. And it's like,
that means you don't know what your values are.
Exactly, right? And so like for me, the biggest challenge I have, and like the constant reminder I don't need to, I give myself on a regular basis, is it's cool. Like, you don't feel great today, that's fine. You're not meant to feel great every day, bro.
But then are you also thinking, what can I do to feel great?
Oh, of course. I know. And like sometimes it's not having to be a hero and just put out 5 TikToks and a video on Instagram and try and reach out to I won't do any of that shit. What I will do is say to myself, all right, Pri, look, you're feeling like a 4 out of 10 today. That's okay, cool. One thing I want you to do at some point is take 10 minutes out of your day, just go sit somewhere and just play some meditation music and just be calm with it. It's
beautiful.
Blessed. And it's like stuff like that takes me away from feeling like, damn, I feel like shit. Because naturally we will feel like shit if an event has arisen. No, but like, so generally, like, things happen in life which you don't see, and it's like, yeah, I'm in my feels today for a reason. Okay, cool. You're allowed to. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't want to feel like that and you want to be a higher level, don't force yourself and lie to the world that you are this higher level. Like, take some time out. Go treat yourself, and when you're trying to cut, maybe don't treat yourself to that extent. But like,
or treat yourself differently.
Exactly. Like,
treat yourself differently.
I like that. One thing I might try and start doing differently, because I feel like I need it, is to treat myself to a massage every now and then.
So this was one of my big things, is that I tell clients when they're like, you know, I had a great day, or it was my kid's birthday, so we're going to go out and celebrate, and we're going to treat ourselves to a meal at this restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have you ever considered that a treat could just be spending time together?
Honestly,
let's book Go Ape.
Yeah.
You know, the whole family, we're just going to spend time together. Like, that is one of our favourite things to do as a family.
Yeah.
But we love being active, because that's when you actually get to really connect.
Exactly.
And treating ourselves, people think a bar of chocolate, oh, I got you a treat.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm going to take you out for a treat for helping me do X, Y, Z. And you're like, actually, there's so many other ways that I can say thank you, or to myself or to others, without it even touching something that's going to be about what you consume.
Yeah. I try and like echo this to people, and it's like, you lot don't need to go out. You lot could go bowling. You lot could go and play pool together. Why don't you lot just go and watch a film? Instead of watching it at home, go to the cinema.
I get so many people who are, you know, I have divorced women, single women, men as well. And they're like, yeah, but it's really tough when you're dating. I'm like, no, it's not. Think outside the damn box. Right now, there's so many new things out there.
Yeah.
And you've got all these influencers who are like, oh, I went here and I did this. Follow those people. They're showing you all the different activities that you could be doing. That's got nothing to do with food. Unfollow the flipping foodie accounts, because that's just going to... They are conditioning you to think, hey, next time we go out, we have to go to this restaurant and eat this food. You know, there's so many ways that you can spend time with someone, and being able to connect with your best friends, your kids, your family, a date. It is what you do with them. How are they in this situation? You know, when we're chucking basketball hoops, you know, are they competitive? Are they funny? Do they, you know, how do you get to know someone if you're just sitting across from the table from them, stuffing your face?
It's true. Mine's more of like the challenges I have is more like alcohol related, where it's like, we're going to go for a drink. And it's like,
okay, go for a drink. Have a Coke Zero.
No, that's just not in the that's not even in the dictionary. Like, I'm like, all right, well, drive then. No, we're going to Uber, and it's like, bro, come on, man.
But you're acting like you're not in control of your decisions.
I'm in control of my decisions. I'm blessed, but
we can't change everybody.
I get that, and it's not about like trying to change people.
Yeah.
It's more of just like trying to raise awareness of alternative options.
Yeah.
Like, I know first and foremost, I'm not the best example for that, because like for me, my alternatives could be going gym, going golf,
love it,
podcast, whatever.
Yep.
But there's possibly so much more other things I could be doing. But I feel like when you talked about, like, say, dating, or even if you're with a partner right now and they have dislikes to what you possibly like, there can be a difficulty in possibly just going alone and trying something out, because it's that does this look weird, me? And I'm like, I
was that person.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was going to cover when you said that whole FOMO thing, how do you get beyond that, is that you fall in love with who you are.
Yeah.
And your decisions around who you are. And that defines the actions that you take. And once I did do that, once I fell in love with me, I was like, okay, why can't I take myself out on a date? Why can't I go to the cinema on my own? Whereas before I'd be like, why would you do that? Like, that's a thing to do with people. Why?
Yeah.
I absolutely love my solo cinema trips and sitting in a coffee shop by myself and taking myself out from, like, I'll go to a gallery and like, people don't see this kind of stuff on my social media, for example, because that's for me. That's my, like, I love me time. Yeah.
I told my dad I was going to go watch a film. I can't remember what it was, a couple of months ago. Maybe it was a Marvel film or something.
Yeah, that's my thing. Never go to watch a Marvel film with anyone else, ever.
I can when I've got, like, people who are Marvel fans. But, like, I said I was going to go watch it, and he was like, why are you going alone for? That's a bit weird. And I was like, well, I've got all my mates are busy. They've all got other plans, so I'm not going to force one of them to come out. And, like, I don't mind watching it alone. Like, it's calm. And he was like,
I love Marvel so much.
Oh, Marvel's gang up. It's gone downhill since
all these additional little superhero things. I'm like,
but I'm hearing if not next year, the year after, they're bringing back the Avengers. So just
But I'm going to tell you now, Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
All the X-Men.
Yeah.
And Wanda the Witch. Yeah. So there's some Avengers. Yeah. Like, I am beyond excited. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to come.
But do you know what's so weird? It's like someone would say to me, my dad might say to me, like, why are you going to the cinema alone for? It's a bit weird. But if I went upstairs to watch a film by myself,
that's okay. So it's funny that your dad said that, because my mum was trying to organise a cinema trip to go and watch some Bollywood movie that's been out recently. I'm not into Bollywood. I mean,
no, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine.
I was a total Bolly princess when I was a child. But you grow up and you're just like, no, thank you.
Wait, you grow up?
You grow up.
No offense to anyone. Anyone who still is a Bolly princess. It's cool.
None at all. And if anything, I'm absolutely in love with the new, like, series coming out on Netflix and Prime from India. They're amazing. Yeah. Films, not so much. But my mum was trying to get some time in with me. And, you've got to put aside like 4 hours if you want to go to a Bollywood movie.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm looking at my diary. My mum's like, can you come this day? But she'll tell me, like, last minute. And I'm like, Mum, I can't. Because I plan my time out a week in advance, at least. And last week when I was at hers with my brother for Raksha Bandhan, she goes, oh, guess what? I went to the cinema. And I said, oh, did you go and watch that movie? She goes, yeah. And I said, who did you go with? She goes, like, her face was literally like, by myself.
Gang.
And I was like, I'm so happy to hear this.
Come on, Mumsy.
She knows I go by myself.
Yeah.
And she's always like, oh, why don't you just ask me? I'll go with you. I'm like, Mum, this is my me time.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing stuff like that by myself. And now she's done it by herself. I said, how did you feel? She goes, it was fine. She goes, I went in and I sat down and I had my snacks with me. I literally fell in love with her even more in that moment. And, like, this is going to take a complete digress, but since my dad died in 2020 and she's started living alone and stuff, and she's just created a whole new path for herself. I'm so proud of every little step she's taking on her own by herself, putting herself in really uncomfortable positions, because finally she's seeing what she's capable of. Whereas before she kept herself super, super small because the world and everyone else around her was telling her, you don't do things like this.
Yeah.
She signed up to classes. She'll go and do stuff all by herself. She'll go to, just like I do, exhibitions, things, all on her own.
It's sick.
So amazing.
It is.
So yeah, shout out to Mum.
Shout out to Mumsy. Shout out Mumsy. It's nuts. I've known a number of old ladies, and I'm not saying your mum's old, but I've known a lot of old ladies who feel like they've got to, like, just keep the needle moving, where they go out and they do their little day tours, or they'll go visit Brighton Beach and stuff like that, or quite frankly just go into the city, do something completely different, maybe a little bit of a shop experience, museums, like you said. That's mad.
It's beautiful. So yeah, tell your dad there's people his age
he ain't listening.
going and doing stuff on their own. But the only way we're going to make it normal is if we do it.
Yeah. No. There are some people I've realised who are a certain cup of tea, and they ain't changing for shit. But let's leave that where it is. Let's go into one of the topics you threw my way when I asked about podcast topics. You were quite adamant in like getting into it. The juicy.
Masculine versus feminine. Yeah.
You heard that, right? Masculine versus feminine.
It's not versus. They actually work really, really well together.
Hit me with it. Go.
So the world now, modern day dating people, the way they operate, isn't what we are naturally built for. So women nowadays, and this is going to piss some people off royally.
Pissing people off. We love to hear it.
Love it. I am very polarizing.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I love about me, because I will do it on purpose, because to me being authentic is super important.
Yeah.
Because I want to draw the people that are my people to me. Unless I speak my truth, they're not going to find me.
Yep.
And if they don't like me, then, respectfully, goodbye, have a great life. Yep. But
yep, nope, tell them.
Being in the day and age that we are now, women are very masculine. Very masculine. And I was one of those, completely. That can come from, and I'll go into what it is, but that can come from the way they've been brought up, the kind of trauma that they've been, that they've experienced, their lifestyle, what they've been taught that the world and their conditioning should and needs to look like.
Yeah.
Success to our community is earning well in a great, stable job, having a great car, all set of cars, owning property, and having 2.4 children, right? It's the old 80s thing. 2.4 children. You might be a bit too young for that.
Oh, shit.
But essentially,
I've never heard that before.
We became doers.
Yeah.
We were trained and brought up to be doers.
Yep.
The feminine isn't a doer.
Yeah.
She's intuitive. She's creative.
Yeah.
She's relaxed. She's the receiver.
Yeah.
She doesn't push herself aggressively. She's in the flow. But when we want to achieve, we can't do that. We have to be aggressive. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to take action. So women did become far more masculine.
Yeah.
And the whole women being equal to men thing, it was useful.
Yeah.
But it's changed the way we interact with each other. Men then, because they were surrounded by such masculine men, didn't need to be as masculine. So now we have very feminine men who don't want to take the lead, who don't want to make decisions, who don't want to lead, their partner in life, through life.
Yep.
Because they're thinking, well, actually, it's a thing that you do and I do, or you do and I follow, because you're better at it. So masculine men are dwindling. There's fewer and fewer of them, and it's because there's no real masculine role models out there.
Is that a bad thing?
You need a balance of both in each individual.
Yeah.
So the perfect woman is going to have very feminine qualities, but also understand her masculine and use that in her strengths. The masculine man, a perfect masculine man, is going to be very masculine in his energy, but understand his feminine traits as well and use them for his strengths.
Yeah.
It's a balance of the two in each individual, and then the two parties in the partnership together.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be the same. You'll bring out that in each other. So I could bring out the masculine in you because I'm so feminine. But if I'm very masculine, you're going to step back.
I hear that. And I've witnessed examples of that. It's but there is so much controversy. That's the Invisalign speaking there. There's so much controversy around what you're saying right now and how, let's say, the roles are maybe slightly reversing, but what still is expected and what still should be done. And I'm putting my hand up here from a guy's point of view. Like, I put a TikTok up, and one of the comments that came back was, is there anything, I'm going to paraphrase it, is there anything more that girls can just take away from guys then?
Wow.
And I was a bit like, and
I'd love to have more context
and
around that.
Some guy went back and it got a bit, it took a sideways view, and I was just like, look, thank you for your unfiltered opinions. Much appreciated. I ain't going to get into this. But like, it gets me thinking, as time has moved on, I look at it as women have been given greater opportunities to explore a different lifestyle which wasn't available for, let's say, the previous generation, right? Like you said, you went into investment banking.
And I love that we've been given that.
And for someone, it's like, you look at the stereotype behind an investment banker, make a shitload of money, right? That's nuts in terms of what those opportunities are coming through. Now, I know there's still this debate in regards to still a lot of men have higher roles, etc., and we're getting closer to that. But the fact that you can have women go into these corporate environments or become their own bosses and run their own businesses and empires, and like, amazing. But then there also comes a point where it's like, well, as one does go up, naturally the other may fall back. So I'm a Libra, I'm all about scales and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking of it, like, exactly. So if I look at it as in like, you're killing it right now. So if I'm talking to a girl and she's killing it in financially, very successful, her parents have provided her amples of opportunities to be this boss babe, love it. What then happens when she requires something more?
In what sense?
Like, she wants someone who's as successful or is not going to settle for someone less. Because I feel like that becomes a problem now in this day and age. Whereas, like, I have women who I will speak to in just general conversation and be like, yeah, well, he needs to be killing it too. He needs to be on 6 figures. And I'm like, but why? Why are you demanding so much more now?
Because she's more.
But I appreciate that. I get that. But if we're trying to, if I try to take this as far back as I can, if we're trying to break a cycle in regards to, let's say, how much energy a guy provides to a woman in regards to that physical intimacy, emotional connection, if you know first and foremost you are not readily available because your corporate job takes you elsewhere, or whatever job you're in takes you elsewhere, so that time isn't available, why do you want someone who's possibly living that same lifestyle, if not working harder, to obviously be able to provide more?
But that's why you often find very masculine women with those feminine men.
But I don't think I find that, though. I find it where you get, I don't know if you call it masculine women or not, but people who are empowering in that front don't like the fact that a guy isn't as successful or isn't on the same pay grade or same scale or same outlook as them. And I feel like that then creates a big issue when it comes to, let's say, dating and the way the world is moving, because we want to empower women to do X, Y, and Z, but at the same time, it's a case of men aren't allowed to fall off.
It depends on what you want out of life. And that partnership. It really does. And it's the whole, again, when I see women who are like, I'm killing it, so I want a man who's killing it. I can understand that.
I can understand it.
Yeah.
But I can't understand when you demand it.
But you can't demand these kind of things. It's not yours to expect from somebody. You have to create that situation where I will wait.
Yeah.
This is why women are like single for longer. I
think it creates a more, and this is where it gets very unfiltered, but I feel like it creates a bigger problem later down the line.
It's already creating a bigger problem. There's more. I think the stats that I read maybe a month or so ago was something like 47% or 49% of women over 35 are single and childless. And we can sit here and be like, that's not a problem. But it's not being resolved. So it's only going to get later and later. Women only want to do better and better. And if that is what you want your life to look like, then awesome. Just understand that later on, it's going to be harder for you to come back into your biological feminine space and be like, okay, but now I want a baby. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're in a rush to find a partner.
And it becomes a hell of a challenge when you try to rush that process.
Agreed. Because then you start settling.
Yep.
Or having to settle.
I've told a few of my clients, like, to have a baby, and because it's all about like the dating process and wanting to get married and have kids, I'm like, to have a baby, it's a 4-year process. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, let's be honest.
You make it so clinical.
I'm like, yeah, I'm being quite like, let's say you're seeing someone for like a year, you're in a relationship with them for a year. All right, okay, cool. And then you possibly get engaged for a year, and then you're married for a year, and then it takes 9 months to have a kid. So you're looking at possibly like 4 years.
That's if everything goes.
That's if everything goes to plan, right? Like, you could rush that process, but then if you get to a stage where you're married and you then realize that, yo, this guy's a dick,
God, and
I'm pregnant now, what does that do for the rest of your life? So you really need to like, and I think the 4-year plan that I said is a little bit more of a shortcut. I think it takes a lot longer for that process to happen. But again, just giving it straight up to them, it's a bit like.
But I also think people aren't actually being fully authentic.
Oh, of course they're not. Of course they're not.
So then you don't have the ability to really connect with someone on that authentic level.
No, you don't. And it does throw a big problem. And going back to that corporate example where you were saying, like, if I was going out with a girl who was making more money than me personally, I wouldn't want to stand in her way if she wanted to continue with her career. And I think I just watched it recently on The Ultimatum, where it seemed like the girl wanted the guy to be just as successful as her. And I'm like, well, it's not necessarily going to make the most healthiest of relationships if the communication is then missing. And when you do want to have children and have a family, who's going to be looking after those kids?
A step back. And yes, society tells us generally that's the woman. So
I feel like you say society says generally it's the woman. I feel like society also kicks back if the guy wants to take that step back.
Yeah, you do get kicked in the gut.
Yeah.
That.
And there's no winning in any of this. So I read this book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, but I read the one which was, I think, like 20 years later.
Okay, the updated version.
Yeah, and what he talks about is basically what you're saying, that women are now finding more of a masculine side to them where they're doing really well in their jobs, and men are possibly taking that back seat. But when you then get back with each other, you both need to lower or higher those levels. So if you're a woman right now and you've got all of this masculine energy at work, you can't bring that home with you.
Yes. So this is the key. I know that in my corporate job, I was super masculine.
Yeah.
I ended up being masculine across the board. Now,
what was your partner saying?
It worked for a while because I was doing super, super well, and I kept rising in that space. But now I'm in a space where I'm like, I actually really understand my feminine side.
Yeah.
And that's my superpower.
Yeah.
That is I'm so much more in tune with myself. I'm so much more relaxed. I'm so much more intuitive. And this is my space. So actually, yes, man has to be in a very leading space, because I no longer feel like I want to lead, but I have to be in that masculine man's space to allow him to lead. Until then, I will lead. But if I'm in the space of the masculine man, then I am so happy to sit back and let him lead. That is my feminine space. Because I'm the nurturer, I'm the creative person, I'm the receiver. You are the action taker. You lead me. I trust you. You're a masculine man. You own your domain, and I will follow. And so people are going to sit here and be like, what the flipping hell is she talking about? She's in the gym busting a gut every day.
No, I think
lifting weights. She's a proper masculine woman. But yeah, it's what you do in terms of like your training and things like that. That's not what defines your traits as a feminine or a masculine.
I think it's again finding that balance for like, so you allow your man at times to then lead.
Oh, the time.
But there are some times where it just doesn't happen.
That's a discussion.
It's a discussion, but I feel like there are people I know where it just doesn't happen like that.
That's because they don't really understand each other.
When I try and like sit them down and be like, look, listen, are you even giving are you giving Geezer a chance right now? Like, is he even allowed to say his piece?
Yes.
If you're over empowering him, one, you're just going to create an argument for when he does lose his shit, and secondly, he's just going to feel like he can't.
But that's the thing. The masculine man will understand that. Okay, my woman is a feminine. She's run by her emotions. Women are emotional, completely. So I need to be there for her to vent.
Yeah.
I need to help her understand.
I'll be that punch bag for you, for sure.
Well, it's not even a punch bag. It's just sound it out. Like women, when they talk, when they want their emotions heard, they want them heard.
Yeah.
They don't want a problem solved.
Yeah.
That's what men want to rush in and do.
This is what men are from Mars and women of Venus have said.
Yeah.
I never did this before in my life.
Men want to rush in and solutionize, and that's what I was like. I want to help you.
Yeah.
I want to clear all your problems for you, and that was great in my banking space.
Yeah.
That was my job. I solve problems. However, men want to rush in and do that. Women just want to be heard. Look, I just want you to know how I'm feeling. This is what's going on in my head. It's all a bit messy right now. And man goes, okay, honey, I understand.
Yeah.
And then once that is all over, she feels like she's emptied
Done her
out.
bit, yeah, it's cool.
Then if you ask, do you want a solution to your problem?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be like, actually, yes, please. I trust your ability to help me solve my problem. So yes, can you help me out? Or no, I actually feel so much better now. We're done.
Pre-2018, before I picked up that book and started reading it, I used to be the guy that wanted to solve every problem. And I'd get frustrated when my problems, well, you tell me what's going on at work and this, that, and the other. And I used to be like, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And then that doesn't work. And they get a bit more upset. And it's like, no, but like, you haven't tried it yet.
Not hearing
I'm not hearing them. And then I realized empathy is what these women are after.
Absolutely.
So I apologize to all the women that I possibly dated or went out with back then. Like, obviously I didn't know, and hoping your man now or the guys you're seeing right now or men that you're dating understand that in a little bit more context. But I've learned that the hard way. Like, it makes so much more of a difference. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. That must suck. Is anything else bothering you? But then my only spin on that is that when I say it like that, I feel like people think I'm coaching them.
We are always coaching, Pre.
Nah, but when you are a coach, it becomes a bit of a kick in the teeth, because then people just get on your case, and it's a bit like, don't coach me.
You become the go-to person.
No, but like when people you're seeing, don't coach me. I'm not trying to coach you. I'm not trying to coach you. I'm just being empathetic here. Like, I understand you're in pain or you're frustrated, and like, I don't want to.
So maybe prelude with, okay, when you're talking to me about this, are you looking for me to help you with a solution, or do you just want to vent and do you want me to hear you out? Like, it's okay to ask that up.
Oh yeah, I know.
And then problems.
I do that with like arguments. I'm like, listen, before we get into this right now, I just want to let you know that I'm in no shape or form am I trying to create any unnecessary tension. I'm not intending to piss you off or anything. I just want to voice my opinion. I hope that's okay, and I hope you allow me to just say what I say, and you just start, and all of a sudden it's like, and it's like,
because it's easy to say, look, just shut the fuck up and let me speak, and that's just gonna create.
No, but as soon as I say that, and then it's like they want to just vent back, and it's like, woman, let me please say my piece. I'm trying to be peaceful out here, girl. Like, you're not allowing me to do this, and now we're gonna create an argument unnecessarily. But it's actually a very, very interesting spin, the way you put on it. I do feel like in the world we live in today, there is that, you're right, there is this masculine, feminine.
Honestly,
I don't think there's going to be much backlash on that, personally.
I think there will. I get it in person. I actually told one of my friends, I see them quite a lot, and the way she interacts with her husband. And I had that's the masculine side of me. I see a problem and I want to solve it.
Yeah.
And I waited till she was in a receiving space. You know, we were getting deep, and I said, you know, have you considered that, you know, you're a badass in your job. You're a complete badass. I'm so proud of you. But you do take that home with you. And you always moan about your husband, your partner being a certain way. But have you sort of looked at what you are like? That
didn't go down well, did it?
No, she knows when I say stuff like this.
In that tone?
Generally. But she also, now she knows who I am. Yeah. Sometimes if I see it and it really pisses me the fuck off, I won't be in a nice flowy state.
Yeah.
Like, look at yourself.
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes. But this time I was like, okay, do you ever think about just taking a look at your behaviour in that situation?
But people don't do this.
This is the thing. And I will be very honest. It's only in the last 6 months that I've done this in so much, like in a massive percentage of my life. Because I was doing it in bits and pieces. But I then started to realise this year, and more so in the last 6 months, that I don't, like, we're all about this blame culture. If things go wrong, it's because of something or someone, and another situation. It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. It's never my fault,
Never
apparently.
my fault. I'm Teflon.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck's
Shit
sake.
does not stick.
Yeah.
Shit needs to stick for you to really realise what you're about. So it's because I've done the work so aggressively in this space for myself that I now help others around me to do that. Clients, people I really care about. My circle is very small. So for me, helping them in this space is like, I feel like I need to want to do it. It's not an option for me. But I will obviously do that with my clients as well. And you taking a deep, dark look at yourself is really uncomfortable. Fucking uncomfortable. I've cried more tears this year in 2023 than probably the last 3 years. And a lot's happened in the last 3 years. But it's because I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, I don't like that about you. I don't like that about myself. So if there's situations I've not liked, it's because I've done things that I maybe could have done differently. Maybe definitely could have done differently.
Oh no, like I know first and foremost, and I tell everyone this, whether it's a girl I'm seeing, a friend, family, I can 100% appreciate that you're never going to agree with me. 99% of the time you won't, because you've been brought up and nurtured your own way.
In a different way.
And I get that. You've seen the world in different eyes. You feel like maybe I have been a golden child, whether or not I just don't understand it because I haven't been through what you've been through. I get that. But you need to accept the fact that, like, if I'm upset, if I'm offended, if I feel a certain kind of way, accept I have feelings and be respectful of that. And I have to own that as well. So if someone says to me that was not cool, I'll be like, look, my bad. I didn't mean for it to come that way. I can accept the fact that I've upset you. Don't agree. I think maybe you're being over a bit overboard.
Why did I get upset?
Yeah.
And you go away and go,
yeah,
why
of course,
did I
yeah,
get
of course, yeah.
upset? Or do you like, I'm upset and this is how I was. And
oh no,
okay,
I take
I'm sorry
a step back.
for my
I take a step back. I always try and look at the bigger picture. Like, I can see how that offended you. Damn, my bad. I shouldn't have said it like that. But I hope you can understand what I was trying to say was X, Y, and Z, and I apologize if it's come across. And I'll always say that I apologize. I'm sorry if a lot of people don't do that.
But that's the thing. It's not just the apology. It's you going away and understanding why it is that you reacted like that.
Of course. But like naturally as humans, like I always try and help people not react but respond.
Yes.
But I think scientifically, and I could be wrong, but it could be just a flick of the switch just to bug out in a short moment.
We will. It's our chimp brain. Bugging out is what the chimp brain does.
Chimp paradox all over again. But it does, right? And it's like, but it's owning it. I know I'm not 100% perfect, and I might say things out of line, and
Who is?
Pretty shouldn't have done that. But respectfully, I was a bit upset, and I shouldn't have done what I've done. I shouldn't have said what I said. But I hope you can understand why I did what I did, and albeit it wasn't cool, just if you could be somewhat understanding, that'd be sick. You probably won't, but I just want to know I'm sorry and leave it as that. But
the reality is they'll probably forgive you quicker than you'll forgive yourself for that.
Yeah. No, it works out, but I feel like people don't know that, and hence why they feel like they still need to like defend their case and all of this bullshit that comes with it. And it's a whole lot of extra palaver, which is unnecessary, but it's a work in progress. It is a work in progress. But
we're all works in progress. And if you think that any of us is going to get to our deathbed in perfect condition...
Oh, no.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
No.
And that's exciting.
Yeah.
We get to keep working on ourselves all the way up until that point. There's never a point where your growth is done.
There's the this whole, I learned it when I was working at Nissan, and it was this saying in Japanese, Kaizen, and it's that continuous improvement. So I stuck that in my CV when I used to go for like graduate scheme jobs. They're like, Kaizen mentality, tell me more. And I'm like, yeah, my manager told me this. He's like, I'm never going to give you a 10 out of 10 in anything you send me. Why? Because I know you can always improve and do better. That doesn't mean what you've produced right now isn't top notch, but you could possibly be coming in 5 minutes earlier to make sure I've got that 5 minutes earlier. You could be thinking differently of how to present that. You could always look to give me the work you're giving me in different forms, shapes, emails, condense it, make it larger, add files, etc. If I tell you it's fantastic, you'll never want to improve on that.
Yeah, you'll just keep replicating what you've done.
So the Kaizen mentality, Pri, is the continuous improvement. And I was like, all right, okay, cool.
But it's like training. If
Yeah.
use an analogy, we want to continuously get better, stronger,
Yeah.
more progressive in those exercises. That is how the body then shows up.
Yep, it's true. It is true.
But we don't focus on the body. We focus on just being that bit better every single time we do it.
It's the stat, right? Like if you improve 1% every day, you'll be 37% times better than you are at the end of the year. And it's just showing up.
But I'll be honest, we can talk all the game we like. Everyone listens to self-help podcasters.
Yeah.
Everyone reads the self-help books. But who does the fucking work?
I feel like that's the difficult part of it, because there's like, and this is where like people like myself and yourself come into the mix, where we can help aid that.
That transition from the knowing into doing? Yeah.
The transformational side of it comes from the people who realize, shit, this isn't cool. I can't live my life continuing like in this way. I want additional assistance to help me keep that needle moving forward.
So this is the thing though. I can't continue to live my life in this way. Why? Because I don't like where I am?
Yeah.
Or because I know I've got so much more in me and there's where I should be. What is it? What's making you be at that place where you're like, I can't carry on like this?
Yeah. Well, there are a number of factors that come into it. Like when I have like, say, an introduction call with someone who wants to particularly consider coaching, or just wants that, as soon as you tell them to feel something, it's a bit like, well, damn, okay, maybe not. Like, and I'm like, look, there are other forms you can do this. There's podcasts, books you can read, etc. But that's only going to take you a certain way depending on how you apply it, right? I used to think, and this is where I realized where I didn't necessarily fuck up, but I was thinking I was doing so well in life. Break up, failed exams, and just was stuck on the self-help books, podcasts, motivational videos, etc. I felt like so gassed in myself, but didn't realize that I had the limiting belief of being unworthy, that I was just making that more stronger.
Always.
It's fucked. And then when I did my Jay Shetty course and they opened my eyes to like these belief systems, I started crying and breaking down thinking, rah, there's a reason why I allow other people to still feel like they're better than me, despite the fact I'm doing all of this motivational work right now. They're still better than me. There's a switch I need to turn off where I am believing that I am good enough and I am worthy enough. And it took work. It took healing from areas in my past where they first stemmed and those roots are. And then you work on that. But I feel like a book can teach you that depending on how much you apply it. A podcast can teach you it. But I'm not saying that we're going to teach you it to get that next step, but it all comes from you. If you don't, like you said, if you don't take the action, you're just not going to get the results.
No, you've got the knowledge.
Yeah.
But without application, knowledge is useless.
I tell every client this. I'm like, you don't need me to work with you. You want me to work with you because you want that no bullshit, that kind of like...
You know that you aren't doing it yourself.
Yeah. No one needs a PT at the gym. You can go to the gym. It tells you on the machine what to do.
How to use it.
Exactly. A YouTube video will tell you what to do. You can find routines if you like.
You'll figure it out. And it will take you years and years.
You get a coach or you get a PT and they train you ever so differently or hold you accountable.
They get specific and you make the whole process so much more efficient.
Oh, I hated my guy with boxing. Like he'd be like, okay, cool, squats. And I'm like, bro, you just said do 20. And I'm like, I've done 20. He said, no, you didn't. I said, bro, you're not counting. Can you not count? And he said, bro, you did 18. Give me 5 more. I said, I'm not giving you an extra 5 more.
Wait, he's a typical PT, yeah? Because he wants 20, you did 18, and then he told you to do 5 more.
No, but I did 20. I was like, nah. But in my head, I'm thinking, however you're doing this to me right now,
it works.
You're telling me that I've got more in the tank.
Yes, 100%.
And you've pushed me. I'm pissed off of you. But when I go away from it, I'm thinking, you dickhead.
So you use training and your squats as the analogy. I've got a client who's been coached by me for 2 years. At the beginning, she lost a ton of weight. She fell in love with strength training. She trains like an absolute beast now. But in the last year, I've been talking to her about the fact that her limiting beliefs, her childhood, there was lots of narrative there that was stopping her from progressing. It was got to a certain point and then it stopped. So we're still training, but we are not looking after ourselves in all the other areas that will allow you to get the physical results. And I was like, I would definitely recommend you get therapy. Get therapy, get therapy, get therapy. I don't need therapy. I don't need therapy. I know why you don't want to do it. It's really uncomfortable. I don't want to look at that part of my life. It's tough. I know. It's done. Tej, I don't want to look at that part of my life. It's finished. I've dealt with it. I'm through on this side. Like, my life is good. But you're not. It has followed you, my darling. It has followed you, and it's stopping you now. If you don't actually tie up the bow in a neat place after you've dealt with it, it will carry on stopping you from achieving your true potential. And oh my God, I can see this potential in you. And it does infuriate me when I can see it. I can't do the work for them. They have to go and do it for themselves. And eventually, she did. 12 weeks later, she's smashing it.
Game changer.
Game changer. I mean, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm going to tell you to go and do work with somebody else, because I can see once you've done that, everything you do with me will just take off in a whole other level. And she tells me this every week now. Thank you for pushing me to be uncomfortable. Thank you for believing that I could do this and get through it. Thank you for not letting me fall back and just take comfort.
Go back to normal,
Absolutely. I don't ever want to be average. I thrive on being the anomaly. And even if I have to do that path solo, I'm good with that. But I also then want to make sure that you don't. You don't let yourself be completely surrounded by the sheep that you have been so far, because I see potential in you. That's a tough, do you ever come across where you're just like, oh, you're so much better than this? When
my clients hear this back, and I'm looking at you right now, when you hear this back, you're going to know I say this all the time to you. It's a case of you're not allowing yourself to take that next step forward. The door's there. The light is shining. You're ready to just walk through and be this new person and kick ass with these baby steps or these large steps that you want to take. You're just not letting go of what's holding you back. And we know what's holding you back. You're too afraid right now to go back and face it.
We can't give you the answer. We can't.
Oh no, I can give them the answer what needs to be done, but they're just so afraid in regards to what happens on the back end of it. They're too afraid to forgive. They're too afraid of what that means for them if they do let go, what that does to their ego, their pride. They just don't know where to start, and we can iron it out. We can create a plan of what needs to be done. Yeah, but they're not going to change. That person isn't going to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, big man, love, I can talk to you as much as you want on this. We can go round and round in circles.
And it will.
Until you let go, forgive, and leave it in the past, it's going to keep coming up. So every date you go on right now, you're going to feel like you've got pressure in the back of your mind because mum and dad have made you feel like you need to settle down quick.
But this is the thing, that people are so scared of what they have to let go. Honestly, you have to be ready to say goodbye to so many people, things, old beliefs, if you really want to step into your power and make the space. So if you lose people, if you lose friends because you decide to train instead of, going out drinking, if you lose a job because you decide that actually here's where my real skill set and passion lies, what this is doing is making space for the things that are actually aligned to you to take you to that next level. So don't worry if your childhood friend no longer understands you and it doesn't feel natural to be around them. It's okay. They've done their job in your journey. Maybe it's time to make space for other parties to be on this part of your journey to take you to that next stage.
I hear you. And this definitely goes into a completely different chapter if we But Tejal, I'm going to have to cut it short, unfortunately, because it's it's one of those ones. But this has been sick. where can anyone find you if they want to get in touch with you in regards to this transformation journey, all of that kind of stuff?
So I'm on Instagram as @tej_fit. My website is tejfit.com.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, cover.
Absolutely. But those are the two main places.
DMs are always open.
Always.
That.
I mean, it's how we started talking.
That's it. It's true. And like, I'm not 41 and I'm not a woman, but like the conversation started. We're here in the podcast studio. So like, no, thanks for being approachable. Thanks for turning up as well. I'm glad we got a date in.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
And I say this at the end of every podcast, but it's just because of the case of like, I feel like I'm meeting great guests and the conversations are sick. And I feel like when this gets heard, people are going to be like, yeah, we need to pull her back up again. And we need to go into that conversation a little bit more because I've got a point to say. So
honestly, I've got so much that I feel like you and I could cover, but yeah.
And we've got the space for it. So get a couple of more people in here, get a couple of more cameras in here. Hopefully you don't fuck up on us and we can have another unfiltered conversation about. But love, thank you for coming through. Thanks again for listening. It's been your boy, Uncle Pre. It's always a pleasure to be in the studio and record with my guests. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if you like stuff like this, please do like, comment and subscribe. It helps me take the podcast to a place where I can definitely bring in more people that are going to resonate with you, whether it's their stories, whether it's their journey, whether it's just something that they're going through right now. So definitely like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, much appreciated you staying in here. I love everyone that comes through and I love all the comments and feedback that I get. So keep that coming through. And yeah, it's been your boy Uncle Pre and I'm signing out. Peace.